Hello Leute, welcome back. It is December 30th, which means there's one day left in 2019. Oh my goodness. I hope you all had an amazing holidays and are still enjoying your holidays. Some of you may be off until the new year, so if you are, congrats. I'm working tomorrow, so not as lucky. But anyway, that's not the point. I wanted to make this video because it is almost 2019 and I have got goals for 2019 and I want to share them with you because it's also been 6 months since I started this channel.
Hallo Leute, willkommen mein YouTube-Kanal.
I went on this language learning journey. Even though I started the journey back in 2016, I really kicked it off again in the summer when I started this channel because I was serious about it and wanted to keep myself going. Okay, so what are my language learning goals for 2019? I have come up with, I guess, two. I've got two distinct goals and I'll break them down a little bit so that they make a little more sense. My first language learning goal is, as you may already have guessed, it has to do with German, and specifically it is to become proficient in German at a certain level. And the only way I know I'm going to make this work is if I set more specific goals, and I tried doing that before with having, I was telling you a while ago that I was going to do the B2 exam in January, and as you may have seen my progress over the last 6, 7, 8 weeks, it hasn't been the greatest. So I'm officially going to scrap that goal, set a new goal. And my new goal is going to be either one of two things, because I don't know exactly where I am right now, but it's going to be either tackling a B1 exam in May or a B2 exam in April. Now, two completely different levels, and they're almost at the same time. And so that will give me about 4 to 5 months to prepare. And the reason for that is I just don't know where I am at right now, and I probably should have done a better time, when I first started this journey for the exam to see where I was, and I did it. Step number one is I'm going to do some sort of a test, whether it be online or in person, and just try to gauge kind of where I'm at right now. So hopefully I can do this in the new year, but like really soon. And once I know where I'm at, it'll help me gauge, where I think I can get to in a reasonable amount of time. Either way, if I hit a B1 or B2 level in German, I will be really happy with. Obviously I want to B2, but again, if I don't feel comfortable and it just doesn't happen, it's okay, it's not a race, I have more time. But that is the goal. So to be specific, B1 exam is in May, B2 exam is in April, hopefully being able to sign up and tackling one of those exams and passing it. And then, I guess, okay, I'm gonna stick to this goal first before I tell you the next one, but sticking to this goal of German, what am I gonna do to get there? So in addition to all the things that I've talked about in the past, I have talked about using Babbel. And if you haven't seen my Babbel video, you should check that out. I've talked about using Tandem. If you haven't seen my Tandem video, you should check that one out too. And I've talked about a variety of other apps like Duolingo. I've talked about using Memrise, Anki. There's a lot of apps. So all the stuff I've talked to you about, whether I've said I've liked it or not, or if maybe I've only said I've really liked some of them, I'm gonna be using all of that same stuff. So I'm not gonna bore you with the details of that. I will also be trying to do a little more writing. So writing down as I'm learning, whether it be an app or whatever I'm doing. If I hear words or phrases, writing them down, because I do find that it sticks a lot better when I write stuff down, but I don't do it enough. So hoping to do that a little bit more. Also plan on speaking more in person somehow, so going to meetups, finding at least one German in Toronto. I know there's got to be a German out there in Toronto that wants to practice German with me. If you're watching and you're German speaker, you don't have to be German, but a German speaker in Toronto, let me know. I'd love to meet with you and practice my German with you, but trying to speak more in person. And I think part of that is also making more videos in German. I didn't do enough of that in 2018, but I promise you I will do a lot more of that, just so I can look back on this and see how much progress I've made. The first video I ever made was, I think it says Canadian trying to speak German. So
Ja, ich bin sehr nervös. In 2016.
It was a while ago. I'm going to make a lot more of those. But lastly, I think one thing that I haven't done in this entire process when I talked about all the things I'm doing to learn German is have a tutor. Really, two reasons why I haven't gone to tutor up until now. One, they typically do cost money, and so there is an expense involved, and for the most part all the tools I've been using have been free or they haven't been too expensive. A tutor, depending on who, where, and how and why, it can be pretty pricey. Not to say that it's bad, but that was one of the reasons why, and the other reason was I just thought I could do it myself. And I'm facing two realities right now, which is I don't think I can do it myself. I do need the extra help of someone, so like a tutor. And now that I look at how much a tutor might cost per hour or whatever the fees are, it isn't, it isn't that bad, and it also shows me that, I'm serious about it. Now, see, if I was training for a competition in track and field like I used to do when I was younger, I would have a coach, I would pay for training and things like that. If I needed to get fit in the gym, I'm willing to pay for a trainer. It's the exact same thing. I do want to get better and I want to be proficient at German. So why not make the investment if everything else I've been doing hasn't been working? And I think it's the same thing when I was learning how to drive. I paid for an instructor to get lessons. I could drive, but I wasn't driving as well as I could have been, or knowing what I needed to know to pass the test. Exact same concept here. So I'm going to invest in a tutor. I think that's the newest thing, or the biggest thing I want to share with you is that, because it's something totally new that I haven't done before. Done a little bit of research trying to find a tutor in Toronto, and I haven't found too many, but I'm going to keep looking. I would prefer to meet with someone in person if possible, but I know it'll also cost more money that way. The other option, I think a lot of you may have tried, if you have been using, if you have been trying to learn a language, you may have used Italki, an app I never really talked about. I used it a long time ago, but never got a tutor off of it. I was just using it for all the other elements of it. But I went on, I browsed their list. There's hundreds and hundreds of German tutors on there, and their prices vary, and you can find some that are, affordable in your price range that can help you. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'll make another video completely separate about that once I go further down that route. But overall, for my first language goal with German, it's get proficiency of B1 or B2 by April or May. Yes! And all right, what is my second language goal for this year? It doesn't have to do with German, but it is taking up another language.
Say what?
Now, it probably sounds insane because, as you can tell, this entire time I've been trying to learn German and I haven't made much progress, or haven't gone really far. So why start another language? I think if I can get to my goal of B1 or B2 in German by the set date, April, May, I think it'll put me in a position where I'm comfortable enough to start another language. I'm not gonna tell you which language I'm gonna start yet, because I haven't quite figured it out, or I haven't settled on one. I have a pretty good idea, like 90% sure I'm gonna start this language. And the reason for it is it's one that I think will be really useful for me just in everyday life and in the future, but also I'm planning a trip in August where I think this language can be really helpful for me as I go on that trip. So that is the reason why I would like to do that one. Again, I'm keeping it very secretive because I don't know if I'm gonna start it for sure. I don't want to jinx it or anything like that, but as we get closer to the date of me starting, we'll definitely be sharing my progress with that new language, as well as how I'm maintaining German while picking up a new language. But I also speak two other languages. I speak English and I speak Tamil. Tamil is my mother tongue, so that one I kind of speak on a daily basis because I speak with my parents in Tamil, and I also speak English 99% of the time when I'm at work, with friends, wherever. So having German would be my third language and another language would be my fourth. So it's like, it's gonna start getting confusing and difficult, but I'm really interested in making sure that I learn all these languages. I think there's a lot of value for me to do it. That is why I'm doing it, and it is gonna be fun as I go through this process, and I'm gonna share that with you. So, what next? That is pretty much it. Those are my two language goals for the year. I wanted to keep this video short, but the other thing I did want to share, and I'll make a completely separate video about it, is that in 2019, I want to be able to share more things with you, more content, but different content, not just language learning. It's something that I've been thinking about for a long time, ever since I started this channel. I've always wanted this particular channel when I started it to be about language learning, but over time, I found that there's a lot of other things that I would like to share that may not necessarily be language learning specific. It could be about how I manage my time, how do I be more productive, some other topics that are really common that I like to talk about, or even just topics that in real life some of my friends come to me for, and I like to share advice on and my tips, maybe with fitness, for example. So I've got all these other things that I would love to talk about, and I've never really shared any of that on this channel because I've always kept it language learning focused. But I think that's going to change in 2019. I might lose some of you because I know you're all here for language learning. It doesn't mean that language learning videos and content is going to go away. There just might be less of it because I'm sharing other content that is, that I think is valuable to myself and to other people. So that is coming soon, maybe as early as the new year in a week or two. So I'm working on that, but I'm excited about it because I do think it'll allow me to share a lot more that I have to share. And I enjoy creating content on YouTube and connecting with all of you. So with that said, I'm gonna end this video here. I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, please give this video a like, comment if you have any comments about your language learning goals for 2019, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video. Happy New Year to all of you.